Kevin, thank you for talking, man. It's been a while.
It's been too long. Yes, good seeing you. I wish it was in person.
Well, we'll get back to that, but for now, I'm very excited to talk about WandaVision, which we'll be watching from home, so it's almost fitting that we're doing
That's true. That's true.
Big shout out to a 732 plug in WandaVision. That's my original domain. I grew up in New Jersey. I don't know if that's indicative of where WandaVision is taking place because I don't know what's real and what's not. But that was a cool plug, so I appreciate it. So I kind of really just wanted to take that as a lead-in to ask, can you say when WandaVision is taking place, or is that part of the mystery?
I would think any question you have that is not answered yet is part of the mystery. But I'll give you another mystery. I grew up in New Jersey for 15 years in my childhood. I didn't know, what is it you say, 732?
732, that's Monmouth County right there, yeah.
My area code was 213.
Okay, yeah, there's 908, there's a few different ones.
I think I'm so old that there were not as many area codes when I lived there. And they kept adding area codes.
It grew. New Jersey grew. They needed to divide it up a little bit. Okay, so let me talk about the characters in WandaVision. Wanda in comics, massively complex, powerful, sometimes dangerous, huge ties to so many parts of the Marvel universe. And a lot of that we didn't get to explore in the movies. And this time we really get to focus on Wanda.
Yes.
And what elements, I mean, whether it's her family, her powers, her evolution, her relationships, what elements are you most excited to have gotten to explore in WandaVision?
All the above. Can I say that?
That's a great answer.
I mean, you nailed it. I mean, that's the answer. You've answered the question, why WandaVision? Why Wanda and Vision? And it's a two-part answer. One is because the characters in the comics and the story potential there is vast and is amazing when you just scratch the surface of it. And the other answer is because Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany play those two characters. And they're spectacular performers and spectacular actors. That again, I believed you'd only scratch the surface of seeing what they could do with those characters in the movies up to this point. And that combination led to it being, when we developed it and started making it, one of the first Disney Plus series, and now the first to debut.
Yeah, their performance and the characters together are fantastic through the first 3 episodes. In today's TV spot, Agnes says to Vision, "You're the Avengers. Are you here to save us?" And I don't want to get too into spoilers that you can't answer, but my question here is, how does the world knows of the Avengers? They knew before, and after Endgame, I can only imagine they know even more. How does that kind of factor into the world that we see?
The world that we see, I mean, it's... Yes, I mean, like all the movies that take place in the MCU, there's a certain amount that the public is aware of, which is not everything that the audience is aware of, because we have that privileged view into everything, into almost everything. But there's a knowledge, which is why somebody would recognize a red-faced android walking around.
Yeah, that might catch some eyes. Do you think there will ever be physical copies of the Marvel shows since they're Disney Plus? Will we ever be able to kind of add that to our collection of 4K Blu-ray?
The great is Mandalorian on Blu-ray?
I don't think so.
The truth is, I don't know. That is a good answer. I mean, that's a good question for which I will look for the answer. I don't know.
Well, I would appreciate it if y'all do it. As you see, I'm a collector. So for my two cents,
if you can pay a very low fee per month and have access to something that will have, you can put it on your TV whenever you want.
That's true.
On Disney Plus, check it out.
Yeah. Oh, listen, you don't have to convince me. You know that. Okay. So with WandaVision, we know that it leads into Strange 2, and you said at the Investor Day, Spider-Man 3. That leads me to wonder, this is a TV series. Does that mean this is going to have a very kind of conclusive arc, or since it's a TV series, like a traditional cliffhanger that we'll have to kind of see further down the line?
Yes.
Which episode do you think is going to get the biggest reactions, people generate the most conversation?
You know, what's fun is I don't know. I mean, any one of them, they've all been designed to surprise and delight, as they say. So we'll see. There a handful of them that I can think of, but all of them, I'm anxious and very excited to experience for the first time the week-to-week unveiling and seeing how people feel week to week. You know, usually for us, of course, it's just been feature to feature. and the moments within features we'd be excited for, which is why we would go around to theaters to watch the audience moments. Now it'll be curious to see, as somebody behind the scenes experiencing what I've experienced as a fan on episode by episode on Mandalorian, which is, what's going to happen? Where's it going? What do we think? It'll be fun to see that on WandaVision and how people are feeling.
It's great because, I mean, I almost feel like Mandalorian didn't even have any kind of expectation for how big Baby Yoda would pop, how big Grogu would pop, and that became such a phenomenon. There is no way to kind of predict it. And so, listen, we've talked about those two movies. I have to ask, if you want to confirm or deny any of the rumors surrounding Spider-Man 3, you're welcome to do so. But really, my question is, it's two questions here. Does WandaVision and those two following movies, does it truly open up the multiverse, which kind of Mysterio talked about but lied about, for the MCU? And have you read any theories online from people like myself and other outlets and fans? Has anybody been close on any of their speculation?
I've read some things. I'm not sure I've read all things. The fun thing about online speculation when it comes to our stuff is how sometimes it couldn't be more off the mark, and sometimes it's shockingly close. That's held true for the last 10 years. But saying which is which would take all the fun out of everything. The biggest clue is the title of the second Doctor Strange movie. That's the biggest clue of where the multiverse of madness is taking us and how we're exploring that there. And that's also, by the way, surreal for me. It's surreal for me that we're talking about a Spider-Man 3. I worked on a movie called Spider-Man 3 many years ago, directed by Mr. Sam Raimi. So this clearly is the shorthand of calling it Spider-Man 3 now. It's fine. We call it Homecoming 3.
But that real Spider-Man 3 title you were saying is what now?
Is not Spider-Man 3.
So, and on the movie front, I mean, the Disney Plus series, it seems like we're pretty guaranteed they're going to come when they're slated for now. The movies, I mean, in today's world, it seems we're hoping. How confident is everybody that Black Widow will drop in May this year? I
mean, confidence is meaningless in today's world because we don't know. Nobody knows anything. Yeah. Hope springs eternal. A year delay, you would hope would be enough. There's a vaccine out there now. We'll see. But I certainly hope so. Absolutely. I want to be back in the theater with people.
Do you guys have like a plan for when you kind of this is uncharted territory to relaunch the marketing of Black Widow? And then also, I mean, you have movies coming out closer together than ever before. Shang-Chi's just 2 months later. Do you guys know when
we've had that before? I mean, Endgame and Far From Home were the same length. We've had that before. And we have the pleasure and the privilege of working with the greatest marketing department in the history of Hollywood. So restarting that campaign, any of those campaigns, I have great confidence in. What I don't have confidence in is the timing because we're dealing with a global pandemic. So I don't know.
Right. And so of the announcements, the Disney Plus show, Secret Invasion was one of those. And that's one of the coolest events in comic history. It's a huge event, involves so many characters. Is it safe to say the show will kind of have a similar scope in any way?
Similar scope to what?
Just the size of how many characters were impacted and involved in the universe being altered by it.
Well, no, I mean, there were more characters in the Secret Invasion comic series than there were in Endgame, right? Because in publishing, you do it. So no, it's not that. But it very much is a showcase for Sam Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn, and tapping into the sort of paranoia elements of the Secret Invasion comic series that was great, with the twists and turns that took. So that's certainly our focus more than can we cram in more characters than Endgame, like publishing.
Yeah, and listen, unsurprisingly, my last thing for you, and I preface this with what we've just talked about and all the things we haven't even had time to talk about is an amazing slate. It's a dream for a Marvel fan. But about 3 years ago now, Kevin, you told me that Nova has immediate potential. It's been 3 years. So my question for you is where is Novat? Is this a character we should expect maybe one day a solo film, a supporting role? Richard Rider, Sam Alexander?
Well, yes and yes. Timing is relative, right? I think I would talk about Doctor Strange 8 years before that movie came out. So immediate potential is relative, but clearly we are not shying away from the cosmic end of storytelling, right in the sweet spot of the Nova Corps and Nova himself. So,
well, I can't wait to see that one day. If listen, you put me in that movie, Kevin. Come on. Listen, it's an absolute treat. It's a privilege to get to talk to you. I appreciate your time, and I'm thrilled for the world to get back to the MCU to see WandaVision because the show's so good. I can't wait to see what y'all have in store for us all year long.
All right, look forward to seeing you again in person, Brandon. Thank you. Good seeing you.